Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now this massive Bitcoin buy signal is still flashing on this chart while the price just liquidated $1 billion of short positions, while the price is also still bouncing from this critical area of support, while Ethereum is continuing to play out this short-term bullish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and so much more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and as of right now, the price is still in a massive sideways consolidation during the much larger bullish trend or bull market, technically speaking. Because we would only break down from the larger bullish trend or the bull market and confirm more of a bearish trend on the larger timeframes if we see a confirmed break below 56,000. So breaking below the previous low right here, confirming a new significant lower low on the larger timeframes, which as of right now has not happened, which means as of right now, we're technically still within a larger bullish trend, also known as the bull market. And we have seen a time period just like this previously in this very bull market, and that was pretty much exactly 1 year ago. We saw a massive sideways consolidation range, and the price simply held above the previous significant low to basically form a very slightly higher low in the price. And because the price of Bitcoin was able to hold above that previous significant low in the bullish trend, we were able to continue the bull market later on in the next few months. And so for as long as the price can simply hold above 56,000 in the coming months, once again, not the next few days or weeks, in the coming months, we're likely going to see a continuation of the larger bull market for as long as we can simply hold above 56K. It's at that point, that would be the invalidation point potentially for the larger bullish trend. And as for the Bollinger Band indicator and the Bollinger Band width indicator, over the last 1 day, nothing really has changed in these indicators. We have no new signals in these indicators right here. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about these indicators on this time frame, then check out my last few videos here on the channel. And with that being said, taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, and as of right now, the 3-day Bitcoin RSI is still trading below 50, so in the lower half of the indicator. And as we can see previously, over the last 1 to 2 years or so, every time where the 3-day Bitcoin RSI has dropped below 50, usually in those time periods, those have proven to be some pretty great buying opportunities for the price of Bitcoin, especially for the longer term. And so once again, this is not a short-term signal, because if you took this as just a short-term signal back here, for example, you would have bought Bitcoin and then we saw a few short-term dumps right here and a lot of sideways price action for actually over a month before we eventually saw a much larger bullish move later on in the next few months. And so because of the nature of this signal right here and the time frame that it's on, as I've been saying recently here on the channel and over the last 1 week or so since this signal started to flash on the 3-day time frame, I've been saying that I am indeed accumulating Bitcoin just on the spot market, dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin to hold for the longer term. And I've been saying that since the price was at around $60,000, closer towards the latest local low in the price of Bitcoin. And also, if we confirm 1 to 2 candle closes in the green right here on the 3-day time frame, so some 3-day candle closes in the green, then we could potentially confirm a new hidden bullish divergence on the Bitcoin chart with higher lows in the price action and lower lows in the RSI, which is a hidden bullish divergence. But once again, this still needs to be confirmed with at least 1 to 2 green candle closes confirming here on the 3-day time frame. And with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, and as of right now, the DXY is still technically trending in the bullish direction because we have not yet confirmed a bearish trend reversal, at least as of right now, in the DXY. And so ideally, in order to be much more confident that we're actually starting to flip much more bullish again in the short term for the price of Bitcoin in terms of the trend and momentum, we ideally need to see a further bearish reversal in the DXY by confirming some lower lows or lower highs, for example. Because as we can see here, time and time again, when the DXY is trending in the bullish direction, that is almost always bearish for Bitcoin. But vice versa, when the DXY is trending in the bearish direction, that is almost always bullish for Bitcoin in terms of the trend and momentum. And now it is worth pointing out that there's some rare occasions where the DXY and the price are trending in the same direction. Like for example, in the second half of September last year, we saw the Bitcoin price begin that next short-term bullish trend while the DXY was still actually heading to the upside just in late September last year. And so just keep that in mind. From time to time. There are some rare occasions where that can happen, but more often than not, it is very likely that if the DXY is bullish, that is very likely to be bearish for Bitcoin, like I just said earlier. And with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart right here, and over the last one day, we have now seen a continued bounce from this exact area of support that I've been talking about over and over again here on the channel. I've been saying we have a lot of support in between around 60,000 to 61,000, and over the last 1 week, give or take, we've seen multiple bounces exactly from that area. But even if we were to see a confirmed break with daily candle closes back below $60,000, we also have a massive area of support in between around 56,500 to 58,000. But as I've also been saying over and over again just recently here on the channel, basically every day since the latest dump to the downside right back here close to a week ago, I've been saying how it's extremely likely that just in the imminent short term here, we're going to see a bit of a break or a relief from the short-term bearish trend due to the fact that the RSI entered into oversold territories for the first time in many months on the daily time frame, and also we are running into significant support. Because both of those factors combined, especially the oversold signal here in the daily Bitcoin RSI, that was telling us that we're due to see some sort of relief or pause from the trend to help to reset the RSI out of those oversold territories and back up towards more neutral levels, which over the last 1 week, give or take, has been playing out pretty much exactly as expected. But I've also been saying how this signal by itself is not enough to fully confirm a bullish trend reversal in the price of Bitcoin. So in order to confirm that, we need to see a confirmed breakout at least above this area of resistance, but ideally breaking out above resistance and also a bearish reversal here in the DXY to be more confident that we're actually flipping much more bullish again in terms of the short-term trend and momentum for Bitcoin. And with that being said, we are now running into this critical area of resistance sitting in between around 63 to 64,000. And so far, we have been struggling around this area, at least just recently over the last 1 day, give or take. And so once again, as I've been saying for days now on the channel, expect a lot of resistance, a lot of struggle around that area. But even if we see a confirmed breakout back above 64,000, we have a significant area of resistance in between around 67 to 68,000 and more resistance in between 72 to 74,000. And so basically, if we confirm daily candle closes back above 64,000 and we hold above that area, that would be the point where we can finally start flipping more bullish again in terms of the short-term trend and momentum. But if we want to have a point where we flip a lot more bullish, where we can be much more confident that the price is going to likely go a lot higher, that would be once we see a confirmed breakout above 68,000. And once again, ideally a bearish reversal in the DXY. If we see those signals, then we can be much more confident that the price is likely heading a lot further in the bullish direction. But until we see those signals, we cannot really be very confident that the price is actually confirming a bullish reversal. But at least for now, even though we have not fully confirmed any bullish trend reversal here for Bitcoin, once again, we're still playing out that slight bullish relief during the bearish trend here in the short term to help to reset the RSI, which once again was expected, as I've been saying basically every day over the last 1 week, give or take. And if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I do just about all of my trading over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit. And this is happening just for the next 14 days, so it has been extended another 2 weeks. But basically, just by trading crypto on Bybit using the link down below this video, you get these chances into this lucky draw right here, where you could potentially win some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT or trip to an F1 race or up to $100,000 in prizes. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And with that being said, zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, and over the weekend, to be honest, we actually saw more volatility than what I was expecting based on what we've seen on previous weekends. because usually the price of Bitcoin is very flat, very stable over the weekends. Usually, generally speaking, we see very low volatility on the weekends, but this time around, we did see a bit of an outlier. Obviously, we did have a little bit more of a volatile move over the weekend. So to be honest, that was not exactly expected, but it did happen. But with that being said, now that we're in the new week, we're no longer in the weekend, we should be expecting more volatility because usually a lot of the volatile moves in the price of Bitcoin here occur during the week on the weekdays. And it is worth pointing out that the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI just recently brushed against overbought territories. And the last time the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI entered into overbought territories was right back here near the beginning of June, so roughly around 1 month ago. And as we can see here, that was close to a local top in the price of Bitcoin before we actually saw a bit of a pullback. And so it's important to understand that this signal by itself does not necessarily mean we're about to see a massive crash, but usually when the RSI enters into overbought territories, it's telling us that we have limited room to the upside, at least in the immediate short term. So we're likely going to reset the RSI a little bit with some choppy sideways price action, or possibly a very slight pullback or rejection from this resistance just in the imminent short term, as in over the next 1 day or so. But because this is on a smaller time frame relative to the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame just here resets the RSI much quicker. These moves play out a lot faster compared to larger time frames. And so, for example, if we just see 1 day or even half a day of just choppy sideways price action or a slight pullback, that can quickly reset this 4-hour RSI, giving us more room to the upside later on. And with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and as of right now, what we've just seen over the last 1 day was the price of Bitcoin take out a lot of liquidity. In fact, over $1 billion of liquidity, which was sitting right at around 62,500. And first of all, it was around 3 days ago, I said we had a lot of liquidity to the downside below the price at around 60.3K, give or take. And so I said back then, before we saw that short-term pullback, we're likely going to grab that liquidity at 60.3K before heading in the next direction. And that's exactly what we saw as expected. And ever since we took out that liquidity over the last 1 to 2 days, especially in my last video, I've been saying how it's extremely likely that the price is going to go up towards around 62,500 to take out that liquidity. So I said in my last video, that is the next major price target in the short term for the price of Bitcoin. And what we saw since I said that was the price go exactly to that liquidation level. In fact, a little bit higher than that liquidation level, but still struggle around this area of resistance in between 63 to 64,000, exactly as expected. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and right now the price of ETH is still holding above and bouncing from this 50% retracement level, acting as support, which is sitting at around 33.50. And we do have a bit of short-term resistance at around 34.80 and more resistance at around 36.50 approximately. And if we're zooming into the 12-hour time frame, we can see right now the price is once again continuing this bounce from this Fibonacci level at around 3.3K, which is also a support level to pay attention to in the short term. And also, we're potentially seeing the price attempt to break out above this short-term resistance at around 34.50. And so if we start seeing candle closes confirm on the 12-hour time frame and the daily time frame back above this resistance, and ideally back above around 34.80, then in that case, we could likely see a return up towards this golden pocket area of resistance in between 3.6K to 36.50. And that area of resistance is definitely a significant area of resistance to pay attention to. And if we actually see some sort of return back up towards the golden pocket and then a rejection from that golden pocket and then a bounce back up again, we could potentially form an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here because we do have a potential left shoulder and a head. So all we need to see now is a rejection back off that golden pocket to form a right shoulder to potentially form an inverse head and shoulders pattern. But obviously, as of right now, that potential pattern that is forming is nowhere near confirmed. But what is confirmed and is still actively playing out right now and over the last few days is this bullish divergence on the 12-hour time frame with lower lows in the price in the candle closes and higher lows confirmed in the 12-hour Ethereum RSI. And so once again, as I've been saying since almost these local lows are right down here, so nearly a week now on the channel, we're most likely going to see either a slight bullish relief or just simply some choppy sideways price action as the most likely outcome just in the short term here while this bullish divergence is now playing out. And considering this is still technically active on the chart, I continue to expect this bullish divergence to continue to play out, and we could potentially see a continued bullish relief back up towards this golden pocket, and then the price struggle around that area. I would not be surprised if we see that type of price action over the coming days. And as I've also been saying basically every day since this local low around a week ago, I've been saying basically every day since then how it's extremely likely we're going to see a slight bullish relief or some choppy sideways price action due to this signal as well here in the 8-hour Ethereum RSI, because close to a week ago now, we saw an oversold signal here in the 8-hour Ethereum RSI, and looking at the last few times this has happened, we saw a bullish relief, or at the very least, some choppy sideways price action over the next 1 week, give or take. But combining with other signals like this bullish divergence, for example, it can play out a little bit longer than a week. But of course, this signal by itself has basically played out exactly as expected over the last 1 week. But once again, as I've been saying, this signal by itself is not necessarily enough to confirm a massive bullish trend reversal, because if that were the case, we would have seen a bullish trend reversal back here, but we did not end up seeing that happening. And so, like I just said, in order to confirm a bullish trend reversal, we need to see other signals confirm, like, for example, a confirmed breakout with candle closes back above significant resistance, like 3650. But with that being said, taking a look at the price of Solana on the 12-hour time frame, and right now, things are finally starting to look a lot more bullish for Solana compared to back here, for example. Because first of all, back here just a few weeks ago when we started to break below 160, it was at that point where I flipped a lot more bearish, and I was telling everyone we're most likely going to see a lot more bearish price action from this point, and that's exactly what we saw over the next couple of weeks. But what we have now just seen over the last couple of days is a clear breakout above significant resistance, which was previous significant support in between 140 to 144. And since that breakout, we've actually retested that area and held that area as new support. And anytime where we flip previous resistance into new support, that is bullish price structure like what we saw back here. But what we also saw back here in the price of Solana back in around the middle of May was a few bounces before eventually a lot more bullish price action. So, for example, it's possible we could see more resistance around these local highs right here, like what we saw just back here. And so keep in mind, as of right now, we still have a lot of resistance at around $150 to $151 where we could still struggle at. But for as long as we hold above this area right now on the chart, once again in between 140 to 144, then like what we saw back here, as long as we hold above that area, we could likely see a lot more bullish price action, potentially returning back up towards 160 or higher prices, especially if we break out above 160, which, by the way, 160 will be significant resistance to pay attention to. And so essentially, we have now seen some early confirmation signals actually confirming a possible bullish trend reversal. That is right. We have flipped previous resistance into new support. We've just confirmed a new higher low in the shorter term here. And so all we really need to see now is ideally just a breakout above around 151, and ideally, to be much more confident, a breakout above 160, but at least just a breakout above 151, that would help further confirm a bullish trend reversal here in the short-term trend and momentum for the price of Solana. And as for other areas of support and resistance for the price of Solana, other than the areas that I've just mentioned, we do have a lot of resistance in between around 170 to 175 and more resistance in between 183 to 187. And as for support, if we break back below 140, for example, we have significant support in between around 120 to 128 based on previous support. And that's pretty much exactly where we saw multiple perfect bounces from, as I mentioned here on the channel before we even saw those bounces. I said we have a lot of buyers in that region that will support the price. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.